Hello and welcome to Board Games with Barry. I'm Barry and I'm back playing Welcome to the Moon, the second adventure, The Journey. So this is the first, I would say, proper mission within the Welcome to the Moon box. It works slightly differently from the launch, which is, as I mentioned, much more like the standard Welcome to games, previous ones in the series. This now has some interesting things to consider, timing considerations, some different things you want to achieve, but it's the first mission that makes more use of the card suits. So the robots, power, the plants, water, so on and so forth. It's also one of the trickier ones, I think, to understand what's going on. Once you know what you're doing, it's fine, but I think just reading it from the rules, it's a little confusing as to exactly what the cut-offs are for the different things. So, things to consider within this mission up front. I'm still playing the level 1 Automa, Catherine. When the A and the B come out, the Astra cards come out, I'll have to cross off the top multiplier on two of these like planetary plants. I don't know what they are necessarily, but that's where you keep your plants. And so the multiplier I'll be able to score will only be the lower one. That's fine, because typically I'm only going to complete 2 at best, depending on how the mission goes. Then it's worth noting that to get a solo bonus in this one, I must circle one of these. Oh wait, it probably tells me here what it is. Space station. I must circle the multiplier on a space station to get 2 bonuses. So if I did get the multiplier on all 4, I would top out at 8 bonuses possible for this one. And remember, I can use a bonus to not give the AI the points for a card that I have to discard. And then finally, there is a new scoring element where you're competing against the bots. You remember it was a race in the first one, first to get all the rockets. In this one, it's a score based system where we are getting either first or second place points. So in multiplayer, this is what you'd normally be competing for, but against the bot in this one, we're trying to have a number of complete zones, which I'll come on to explain in a minute, greater than pairs of power symbols that I've discarded to the AI. The aim of this mission is to fill in all the spaces again, going numerically from Earth to the Moon. Now you may know that there are only numbers 1 through 15, and there are far more than 15 numbers here. I will explain. The game will end when all the spaces are filled in, when I've taken my 3rd penalty for being unable to place a number, or having gone twice through the deck, which I don't think is possible for this one, but we'll see. So the different suits do different things, so let's just go through it in order as we come to them. This is water, so whatever number I fill in here is fine, as long as I can use any suit, but if I use the water suit to fill in a number here, I can circle this for the 4 points. I can use any other suit, not a problem, but I won't get the 4 points. Another one here, and those go round. These ones being of the most value, 8 and 8. And they're just raw points that get added up in my total at the bottom here. Next I have my space station. So the first thing I have to do is get to my space station. And to get to my space station, I must use a robot suit, so any number, robot suit, to cross off one of these, then the second one, and then I can score off the multiplier, whatever that is, whether it's the top number if the first 2 Astra cards haven't come out, or the second number potentially. Both are options, and when I get there, remember, I will get the bonus. Let me double check that's true. No, it has to be the highest multiplier, so realistically I can only get 4 of these potentially, because it would take a number of actions to get there, and the Astra cards will probably come out before I manage to get to a 3rd. The points multiplier is the value, or the multiplier times the number of plants in that space station. So space station 1 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits to put plants. This has 3, this has 4, this has 4. Obviously this is the maximum potential score, 10 times 4 for 40, but it requires 4 robots to get there. So if I was going for these two space stations, not only is that a reasonable number of plants to get, but also a number of robots. Now you may think that placing plants pretty straightforward, but there's an additional rule for placing plants. Plants can only be placed in a space station in the section in which you are connected to it via the robots. Now, when you first start playing, all of these are potentially connected. It doesn't have to be actually connected. When I first start playing, all of these space stations are open to me. However, later on, I may end up creating a new section, or I will be creating a new section. It's the only way to finish the game. At which point, only spaces still connected to those robots that reach the space station will allow me to circle a plant or cross off a plant in those areas. So the way that will work, let's say I crossed off this section here, which I'll explain with the power action in a moment, then only when I use the plant suit for numbers in this section would I be able to cross off ones on here. However, anything in front of that line, I would still be able to get to all 3 of the future space stations, 2, 3 and 4, because I could still get up the robot chain to get to them until that point. So this is probably the trickiest rule to understand, as when you can circle a plant. Now obviously Board Game Arena is going to keep you right when you play it, but just so you know what you're doing, that is what's happening. Then the power action, if you look at the top here, once you've circled, you start with 1 for free, but once you circle both of the powers on the line, you must cross off a section, and that's going to restart or reset the values that you were putting in there. So let's say I got a 15 here, I could put a line there and then start from 1 again and going again, then maybe I get up to 15 here, I get another line, but I have to have the lines before I can start placing the numbers. So if I put another section divider here, that means I'm going to only be able to connect to this space station from the front, this space station from behind that line, and only as far back as wherever the other line is. Getting the astronaut or the planning actions just allow me to cross off one of these, and for every 2 that will let me substitute the suit or the icon that I want to use with a wild, so I can choose whatever one it is. Cup of tea time. And finally, the width of the section will get me some points. I forget exactly how that scores. I'll look into it before the end. So the objectives in this one, I want to get to 3 different space stations with the robots. Possible, not so likely. 2 sections with 6 segments in it. So what that really wants to be is a 12 long section that I later on come in and cross off. So this would be complete sections, 6 in length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's say I were to put one there. Later on, I want to come back and have that here to complete that objective, or maybe I'll do it later on. And here I want 6 water tanks circled straightforward, just anywhere on the journey. I want to have completed 6 water tanks. Now, the most common way of not being able to place a number is that you've not put any dividers down. Thankfully, the first 2 times you fail to place a number, the game gives you a lightning bolt, gives you a power icon. So as long as I've got one sitting, it shouldn't be too detrimental. But ideally, I don't want to use any of the penalties because these are minus points at the end. So, yeah, this is the longest chain, I think. So the longest, if I have a 12, I want a 15 somewhere else for the most points, but we'll see how it goes. Again, the same scores. I don't want to give the Catherine here power, water, or planning. So we will see. We will see. So one's obviously... I also want robots. And I don't have a good place to start knowing where I'm going to drop that. So what if... Sure, what if I did do the one of robots? Just started here. Let's go for these two initially. That's fine. Now remember, this is just pure score. We're adding up our scores for all the things that we achieve and the objective cards versus their score by the time the game ends. So the 5 of water could go there, but that's not good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I went here, I could push it, but then I'd be very limited in what I could go in there. But you know what? You got to bet money to make money, and it's still early, so I can definitely get a 2, 3, and 4. They might not be exactly what I want, but it should be okay. So I don't want to give the AI any of these. So 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I did want to... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I kind of want to cut off here and then split this into 2 6s later in life. So if I did this, if I'm saying a cut off here, this wouldn't be too bad for a 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, it's early days. So let's see if that's... So, sorry, I should have pointed out. I got my second power, and then you'll see that all the gaps in between are become highlighted. I chose to cut off here. I can now start... This is a 1. It doesn't matter that I've not filled in this section, but only things placed in this section, because it's connected by robots to the space station, will allow me to fill in the plants on this space station. Robots, however, are not restricted by this. It's just the plants. So... So to give myself the... it's fine. Like, I should smash the computer in terms of points. The level 1 AI is not terribly difficult. So here, that lets me circle the maximum bonus there, which will also let me use a solo bonus so they don't get the full points. Great success. Excellent. So now I want the 4 of plants. And because this section's connected by the robots, I can fill in this space station. Oh, a cup of tea. Give them the robot. So again, the 3 of water wouldn't work because there's no option for crosses in this level. And remember, a cross can fundamentally substitute. Oh no, that's not true. Planning still gives me a cross. Oh, yeah, sorry. The astronaut icon lets me plus or minus the number I'm using by 2, and the planning action lets me put a cross in the box, which you may remember from the first mission, which doesn't have to match a number. But I think here the 11 of water is perfect to fit in there. And then what I really want is 1, 2, 3, 4 more plants and 2 more waters. Is that going to happen? Unclear. I think I'm just going to give them 1 water. I want to save that other bonus for another planning action if I don't use it. So now I'm starting to think about what I want to fill in on this next segment. So I want to definitely have 1 more of these filled in, and I'm happy with giving the AI that. So the 11 of this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I reckon 11 is probably safe there. Give them that. The reason I want 1 of these filled in at least is because if I end up not being able to place, then I'll be able to split the line and definitely be able to place next time. It's not the best system, but it is what it is. 9 of plants, that's perfect for here. If you remember, we want 4 plants. I mean, I'm very pushed for numbers here. I might not manage to achieve the full amount, but that will be okay. So now I can't get another plant in here, so I need to think about the next section. Do want more robots. But what if... So if we did the 14 of plants, and I went here, I think that will be my next cross off. So my decision now is which of these to do. Now, because I placed it in this line, this is all one journey step at the moment, and so this space is connected to this robot, this robot, this robot, which are in turn connected to these space stations. Do I go for it? And I think the answer is yes. I've given away quite a lot of robots. I will need to... not that many, I suppose, 2 robots. This is good. 10 of water. Just racks up the 8 points. It's not bad. I also want to get 6 of these. I will give them this. So here we have the 6 of... I think we have to start... I could do the planning. I don't need to do the planning. The 9... I can't get a 9 of water there. So the 6 of water... That was a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think maybe... Let's undo that last step. Perhaps just the 6 of this. So 9, 8, 7, 6 is probably fair. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll draw a line here. And so now, because I'm kind of giving up on these space stations, I wouldn't be able to get all the plants on them. But any spare robots I can maybe consider doing. I will... yeah, okay, I'll give you the water. This is fine. Okay, so the 6 of plants is reasonable here. Remember, I want to complete this section fully. Giving away quite a lot. I'm just going to solo bonus that one. You know, I'm already winning on points, 36 versus 28. And there is a way, like if you're playing solo, you can game it so you're unable to put anything down once you get about 30 points clear, because you're only going to take minus 15, and then you're only going to give them, say, 3 cards, and you can choose which card it is. So, you know, being 25, 30 points clear, you can gamify it so you win, but that's not fun. So do on the 8. I don't want anything else here. But I could do the 8 of... Oh, no. What if I instead did the 11 of plants? I want to start filling this in. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So actually, if I went here, it gives me a reasonable buffer. And until I put in something that cuts off this, for example, I can still fill this in. So 13 will go in here nicely, and the 13 of robots isn't the worst choice. And that's going to let me start building towards this space station. 14, no, the 8 of plants. So this is going quite well in this first segment. I do want to get another power out. So the Sea Astra card doesn't do anything. Next time it comes out, they'll claim this objective. So the second time through the deck, the AI should claim objectives. I know it wasn't working in the launch. I don't know if that's a rule for the sabotages, but we'll see. So I could do the 7 of plants, but that would mean I lose out on this water. I could do the 7 of power, which is something that I wanted, so actually I might just do that. As I say, what I don't want is to end up getting caught short. So now I have to cross off one of these. It doesn't matter because I'm not getting to either, really. So here's a water. So I could do the 8 of water here, or I could do the 7 of water here, which is like perfect. Yeah, okay. Now I don't have any bonuses, so I am giving the AI 4 points, but I got 5 points. And it also gets me a little closer to completing this. So now I have to cross off this one. And that's fine, I won't have to do it again, but then they'll start claiming the objectives. I don't really want to cut things off too soon. I guess I would have to cut them off here. I could do the one of planning. That's tricky. I think what I do is the one of lightning bolts. I go here. And then I could just, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 points is probably what I might get here from the longest one. So I might as well just cut this off just now. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I chop it off here, when I fill in these two spaces, I'll have completed this objective. 2 lengths of 6 completed. So 3's good and plants are good. Perfect. So now all I need is the 2 of water, and I've played the perfect first step of the journey. Maybe. So I do still need robots. I also need plants, but the 10 of robots seems not too disappointing here. Does that definitely have to be the max? Let me hover over this again. Circle and multiplier. No, just a multiplier bonus. I don't need to have got there first. Fine. Or before things broke. The 15. So if I did the 15 of plants here. Now let me cross that off. So now I need 1 plant, 2 robots somewhere along this line. Seems possible. Well, this is less than ideal. That was a 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that'd be okay. So this is the last plant I need. I no longer want plants. Because even if I were able to, I've only got 1, 2, 3. I could fill this up, I guess, if I gave up on the water bonuses. This isn't ideal. And I don't really want to be left with a 2 there. But 3 is the only number I can place, and it has to be 3 of robots. So whether I go here, that leaves with a 1, 2. That leaves with some very tricky waters to get. Sure, do this. I need a lightning bolt. I need to get that new section started here. Otherwise I am in trouble. So 8, and then I can't, if I went here, that'd be very sus. Or unless, what if I start doing plants here? I'm never going to get up there, am I? 1, 2, 3. I guess I could. It's not impossible. 21 points. I only need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me restart that turn. So it has to be the 8. And do I want robots to finish this? Or do I want plants to start here? That's 8 points anyway. I think we just do robots. And I think I make that be the 7. So I join that up. That's going to get me a bunch of points. Also get me 2 thingies. Get rid of plants. Don't want to see plants again. Although we're already in our second time round. So the 1 is not the 1 of waters. So what I really want is another lightning bolt to start going here. I think I am going to end up with a penalty. At some point I feel I'm not going to be able to place one of these. I think this is the least sort of punishing place to put this. So do that, circle the power, give them a plant. And now, so I must first pick a number for the card. So what fits? So only the 9 fits, and I guess it has to be power because I need to put that there. Give them a robot. So I don't care about robots or plants is the unfortunate thing here. I could put the 1, 2, 3, 4. I still need to get 2 of these as water. Could do the 8 of robots. Maybe. Could do the 1 of plants. Nobody cares about that. 8 of robots, 8 of plants. Doesn't help me. So the only thing that gets me anything is the 8 of robots. If I split the middle here, guess we build up to this one. Give away a plant. I suppose I need some sort of plant in here. In an ideal world, the 3. The 2 of water. Perfect. Played an absolute blinder on that bottom part. And that should also let me claim this. Both 6s now filled in. Give the computer that. So I'm currently winning this objective. Got 20 points because I have more filled in sections and they have pairs of power. There's can't really do the 5 there. I could do the 10 of water up there though. That's not bad. That should let me claim this one. So I will use a solo bonus because I don't want them to have the lightning bolts, both for this bonus power and just points in general. So 5. You know what, if we did the 5 of plants, very risky. Gives me the voidless gap here though. But if I can get 2 more robots, that's at least another 7 points. Which isn't nothing. So either I get the water. Fine, 7 of powers. I could go there. And because that has to be a 7, I think I have to. Whilst I'd like more bonuses for water, I cannot risk it. We're getting very down to the wire here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I've even got 5 more picks. So that's fine. Oh, another 7 though. Doesn't help. I do need a robot. So the 11 of robots. But then I have no top end ones to put out. So I guess it's the... I can't do the 5. I can do the 7 of robots here. Let's see if we can get connected. If we can make this another plant, that might be worth it. I can give the computer that, but I won't. Fine. So, none of these are any good. I guess you do the 2 of lightnings, and I guess here's the better option. Because I do... oh no, wait, restart that. So 2 of plants. So now if I join this, it's 14 points. So I just need to get a robot. None of these are robots. We're not going to get 2 of these in time. So the 15 of... You know what, if we do the 15 of lightning, gives it the AI more points. But I can then cross either one of these off. I think actually crossing this off gives me very good chance of getting these last cards out. I think this is my last turn anyway. These 2 remaining cards are not enough to pick from. I don't know if it'll let me do that last pick if there's an odd number of cards. 10. So I just want to minimise the score really. I would have liked one of these to be a robot, but I did give away quite a few robots. Fine, don't suppose it matters. 4 of planning. Does that help anybody? Not really. Because I can't get a second one for... I may write an X on my score sheet. Sure, all filled in. The end. And that is a victory. So I finished 146. versus the computer's 75. So that is a 71 point difference for the final score. Now, all very straightforward. Sometimes this mission can be a little tricky with the when to draw a line, where to draw a line. When you're going for the objectives in multiplayer, would have liked another 5 points, just get a last robot, but it doesn't matter. But you can see that actually, if you add 1 to all of those scores, for example, in a higher difficulty setting, that'd be 7, 14, 18, 20, 27, 31. So the computer would have to be averaging 2 more points at a higher difficulty level in order to be a true threat. But what you can do is just balance where you think you are in the game and how difficult or how well you think you can do with what the computer's point scoring system is. Whilst I gave away a lot of robots there, if you went in with a character that had 4 or even 5 points for robots, you'd have to change your tactics up. So that's where much of the replayability in solo mode comes from. And in multiplayer, it's always what's your opponent up to. You're both working off the same set of cards, so it's always whoever's made the best decisions to some degree, the best pushed the luck, the best mitigated the points for that one. And when you are playing, as I mentioned, on the campaign mode, then how well you've done will dictate how difficult the objectives are the next time round. Sometimes or mostly it's just whether you succeed or fail. The campaign log will tell you what AI to be using or what automa to be using, and then whether you pass or fail. There's always failing forward. You can always choose to replay it as well, should you wish. But that is that. I will play through mission 3, which is the colony, so when we're getting set up on our moon base. But until next time, this is Barry signing off.